trying to get everything together. So, right. All right. We here on. I'm getting an echo right now. So, all right. All right. Hey, Dickie, you there? Dickie Jr.
Hey, I'm in here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. All right. You going in? Mr. Hayes, you transmitting good over there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
Hey,
all right.
top of the
Okay
evening
then.
to you, Mr. Rod.
How's it going? How's it going?
Hey, it's slow
Yeah.
for the pole, but I'm still on the globe. I'm 19
Hey,
and holding 43 times.
okay, that's a hey.
Okay, yeah. Mom, this is Diggy and Dice Game Show. We on hashtag Vicious TV, and we have our special guest today, Mr. Rod Hayes. And man, it's very I just don't know how to say it, man. But you touch a lot of our hearts, and you putting out this information and what we've been experiencing right now on this planet. So I just want you to make a small introduction for yourself for our listeners, because this it's very I just want to say it's very I'm just excited to get on this live today with you, and so you can give our listeners and our people's your divine message. So can you get a small introduction by yourself?
Yeah, my name Rod Hayes. A lot of people been seeing me popping up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I've been doing this since like 2018, 2017. Um, I just so happened to notice some anomalies in government and started to pursue those avenues based off of my research and my studies, and seeing that there was something that we as a people needed to do, but didn't nobody know what to do. Our culture say,
Mhm.
he who knows the way takes the lead. So I had to take it up on myself at that point to do what was necessary for us to restore um, the organic people back to their prominence in a rightful position. And so I did that, and now we seeing it starting to come to the surface. Our people starting to wake up and realize what we've been dealing with, what we've been faced with, and they starting to see that the battle cry "Free Larry Hoover" mean more than just getting the man out of prison. It's all
Mhm.
about our freedom, uh, and it's about raising the matriarchy or restoring our original form of government.
Mhm.
Right. So a lot of people coming in, they not understanding what Larry Hoover have to do with it, but he is a biologically rightful heir to the organic
Okay.
land. He is the spokesperson by birthright. That's because he was born to do that. And it had nothing to do with my opinion or the fact that I grew up gangster disciple turned growth and development, right?
Mhm.
But when somebody asks me, where's your chief? I'm not sending them to Joe Biden or Donald Trump. I'm sending them to Larry Hoover,
Right. Right.
right? Because that's what I'm supposed to do just by doing what's right. So where we at now, everything is about us doing what we know according to what's right in order for us to capture, reclaim our proper place in this system, overthrow the old system, basically using our ancient system.
Right.
Right. So that's what I've been on. That's the campaign I've been on. Free Larry Hoover is the battle cry. And with that is the restoration of the matriarchy, freeing all the political prisoners who've been fighting on the behalf of the people, for the last however many years. Some of them been locked up as long as 75 years in this struggle. And then there's others who we don't even remember their names, right?
Mm.
So we here to bring the attention to the fact that there is no more United States of America. That was a experimental government, an interim government, and it's used its purpose and it's abused its people, right? So now we are in the position, continuity of government.
Hello, hello, Rob.
Did Rod go out?
I think it did. Let's see.
Yeah, I was wondering, cause see, to me, the Act of 1871 went around the original thing that they put on paper,
Oh, really?
and yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to see what happened to Rob. He just fainted out. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got out somewhere. So I'm trying to see if we can get him back, y'all.
yeah, we'll see if we can get him back in here.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Uh,
Cause them folks are always doing something trying to
Man, I'm telling you,
stop the
man.
message, man. You know, they always doing something to stop the message. Cause at first you were breaking up a little bit when you were talking, and then it kind of went away.
Yeah, at first I had an echo, so I had an echo like a motherfucker at first, and I didn't know if y'all was hearing me right or y'all were hearing that echo. So
Yeah,
yeah, let's see if we
it
can
got
get let's see if we can let's see if we
it
can get
got.
him back on.
Uh huh.
So I was oh, there you go. He pops back up. Hey, Rod, you there?
Yeah, a phone call came in and dropped me off.
Oh, okay. We didn't know what happened, man. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what you was saying, what you was talking
About
about.
the continuity of government,
Yeah,
It's
and
a FEMA document. Continuity government is a FEMA document,
hmm
and it's about transferring of the power from an old system to the new system, and trying to maintain as much of the continuity of normalcy to the collective, so that the people. If it was up to me, I'd have shocking all their ass into wake up time. But
that's
it was
what I
right.
kept saying.
it was a collective decision from the chiefs, because I have to get the message to the grassroots that we going back to our ways.
hmm
We ain't finna we can't never overthrow the enemy using the enemy system, and that's what our people been doing for the last 400 years, 500 years we've been at war. They gave us a remedy, but the remedy is a trap. It's a deceptive trap. And
Uh-huh.
the continuity of government, they had to give it had to be laid out how we gonna switch this back from them to us. And that's what the FEMA
Okay.
document is, continuity of government. We know FEMA to be Federal Emergency Management Association, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But FEMA
Yep.
FEMA is short for female,
Right.
right? The L just ain't on there,
Uh-huh.
right? So when you look at the L, we're talking about Chief Malik Angel Bay taking over the L's and Bays, the lodge of the L's and Bays. And that's coming from the red. From the blue is Dr. Malachi Z. York L. Stepping into position. So they have to be in agreement. It can't be no conflict in the upper leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And when I offered my help several times before, everybody laughed at me and told me that there's no way I could unscramble this egg, because we'd had Malcolm, Martin, we had Khalid Muhammad, we done had Yahweh being Yahweh, we had Clarence 13. If these motherfuckers don't never solve the problem, then how the fuck is you gonna do it and you ain't got nan degree?
Yeah.
Right.
And all I told him was, if you don't want me to do it, then I won't do it. I'm not going to, I'm not going to offer my help to somebody that has no respect for what I'm offering. If you don't see what I'm, test me, motherfucker. That's what you do.
Right.
Right. So, finally, when Farrakhan had to excommunicate Khalid Muhammad because he was going against the rules. And when he started doing that, Farrakhan asked for some help. Well, I sent him a message. I sent him a letter. He got the book. And I told him, if he needs some help, I'm here. So he got a message to Malachi, Angel Bay. He got a message to Tookie Jr., Big Tookie's son, because Big Tookie was in cryostasis at this time. I thought
now, can I get you to explain something about Tookie? What did they do? Fake Tookie's death? That he was injected or something?
I'm about to get into that. Just let me finish this part.
Okay.
So Tookie was in cryostasis, held in Area 51, because he was one of the high chiefs on the land. Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze in Batman because he was the one who signed the executive order. California law is a border state. So they governor have executive powers that interior governors don't have for national security purposes. And he knew that we would need Tookie. And so he signed off as the governor of California. Instead of executing Tookie, they put him in cryostasis. Right? And this is why when they report that they tried to give him lethal injection, they say Tookie sat up. Ain't no sitting up after lethal injection.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So that told me that was enough evidence for me to start investigating further. And I got a message from Eldridge Cleaver, from George Jackson, from Big Suge Knight, from Eazy-E. It's a whole bunch of messages that came in on the Wind Talker channel from various chiefs over the last 50 years that told me, don't look for Tookie in the grave, look for him to be on ice. So now the soul on ice is a soul on fire. Right? So when they froze Tookie, they reported it as he was executed. When they thawed him out, the lady that was in charge of the Department of Prisons in California, I forget her name, and she was fucked up. But she had to go and tell him that, for an effect, anybody that's been froze for 10 years and he served his death sentence, according to the state of California, they have no more jurisdiction. Tookie don't have to stay in seclusion if he don't want to. There's nobody else. There's no law enforcement agency that can do anything to him. But if the people seen him prematurely, it would interrupt the progress because the Crips was going to go fucking crazy.
Now, why would the Crips go crazy?
Not crazy like negatively crazy. They was going to be, like, nigga, we told you, this C Nation and this, they going to nut the fuck up. And he the only one that can keep them under control. And Chief Malik Angel Bay sent a guy named T. Rogers to California to organize the blood sets because they had no organizational structure. We had to get structure to all of the tribes. They was telling us we been gangbanging. Them tribes, we've been trying to tribe up, but we didn't know what we was doing because we was outside of our right mind. We didn't understand that we was tribing up. Right? So when I started reading the culture, I'm like, these ain't gangs. These is tribes. Old tribes, ancient tribes on the land. They doing the same shit. They organizing, they doing in their dances. The dances is the conjure, what they call it, rain dancing. That's conjure, right? Sea walking is a crooked man walking on the land. That's an electrical charged conjure, right? And so you got in Chicago, we G-walk for the folks. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, and they all ballroom and step. All those is building that energy up to be useful at a later time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that kind of took me for a loop. I had to process that. That wasn't an easy pill for me to swallow that Tukey wasn't dead. You know, but all of the information coming in is telling me. So then finally, when I got confirmation, it was when he was in a hangar in California to see his family and let them know he wasn't dead.
Right.
And from that hangar, this is where you seen right before the concert, the Free Larry Hoover concert, Kanye West was out there, James Prince was out there, and there was a couple more people that was out there. But Kanye, Tukey hair fell out from being frozen. It's gonna grow back, but the initial hair that he had fell out. So right now he got a little short afro, but that's why Kanye cut his hair like that. And he was dressed up like it's in the middle of fucking California heat. Anybody from Cali know what I'm talking about? That Cali heat ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye walking around with these big ass boots on and this motherfucking overcoat and shit. Cause Tukey was going through severe chills. I started experiencing it as, you know, I started tuning in. He started showing me what he was going through, and I started having the symptoms. And I was like, holy shit. Right? But now we at the point where, in continuity of government, the men did their job in restructuring the land. I don't know how it's going to be because I haven't got that news because they got to talk. Larry Hoover's job is to give us a report from the chiefs on the land on how everything will be reorganized to put us back in positions of power.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But DC is in effect closed. That's a wrap for DC.
Yeah.
So this is just like a dog and pony show that I've been telling everybody for the last 3-4 years.
You're absolutely correct. But we use the cover of the Dog and Pony Show to make every proper move necessary for us to secure our positions of power across the land and around the world, for that matter, because we got people from every walk of life and every landmass that's in on this shit. It ain't no one-man show. That ain't just not a Rod Hayes show. I'm probably one of the most important, least significant motherfuckers it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, but we love you though.
I appreciate you, brother. But my job is to just tell the grassroots that this shit is coming. I don't have that's on them to run this shit. Right? It's on them to clean up these streets. But it's my job in the meantime, in the interim, is to get the attention of the people. Hey, well, this shit is over with. This Dog and Pony Show coming to an end. Right? And so a lot of people learning how I see the signs by my posts. Mm-hmm. So when I make the post, they know what the fuck I'm saying beyond what other people can see because they from the land.
Right.
It's a lot of naysayers out there. I don't have a problem with the opposition because Big Mama said you ain't made it till you got detractors saying that you don't know what you're talking about. Right? If you ain't got your hater committee, you didn't make it. You ain't there yet. Well, them motherfuckers came out about a week ago, blasting my ass on some dumb shit and don't know what they talking about. You know, so my thing is celebrate the hater club. Hashtag fuck Rod Hayes. But it ain't gonna stop this motherfucking machine that's moving in your direction.
Right.
It ain't gonna stop our people from saying we done with this bullshit. Our sisters from saying you not raping no more of my babies. It's just not gonna stop none of that. So come on and hate. We just need the haters so we can know who to get rid of.
That's it.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
That's it right there.
So they can hate all they want.
Some people need to be led.
And some people need to be decapitated.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Wholeheartedly.
My position, I don't believe in nonviolence. I believe sometimes in order to do the right thing, you gotta chop a motherfucker in the throat.
Well, like I tell,
back, turn his spit red, swell his eyes up, make his lips fat. Sometime in order to do what's right, you gotta do all that shit.
Right. I
Mhm.
told D
All
one
right.
time, I said, hell, if I could just wave my hand, it'd just be all over just like that. But I
Yeah,
can't do that.
a lot of it for me has been training in case they need me later,
Right.
right? Because I got to be tough skinned enough to take this shit.
That's right.
You know what I
That's right.
mean? And if I haven't been
Yeah.
exposed to it, they all like, I can't believe this nigga made it. He from A to Z, this motherfucker had all of the answers. The hardest
Mm-hmm.
part out of everything for me to accept is it wasn't pale faces behind it. It was motherfuckers that look like us, that's not of us.
Right. Right.
And Bobby Hemmett ran to the same issue. He almost couldn't accept it,
Mm-hmm.
which is a contributing factor to his stroke.
Which
Cause
leads me to go ahead.
that's some hard shit to take. You know that a motherfucker that look like you is responsible for the whole trauma of your people.
Right.
That's a hard pill to swallow, man. That shit is not
That
easy.
is a
Yeah.
hard pill to swallow, though. I mean, it's hard to understand the why. Yeah,
They
it's
not
hard
the
to.
same. They look the same externally, but they don't have the same heart we had. They don't have that love barometer that we have for our people. They selfish, self-centered, greedy, and they believe in bullshit at all costs. We exactly the opposite. We kind,
Right.
loving, compassionate to others, and we believe in protecting our people. So when you begin to reach the level of the chief, you're gonna automatically have a different perception.
Right.
Okay. These ones that look like us, what do they call them, and where did they come from, and what the hell happened in 1492?
1492 was when Columbus brought the hordes of blackamoors, conquistadors. They came over as conquistadors, but when they infiltrated us, they changed both our name and their name to Moor.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
because of both of us being ancient Earth races, they not from Earth, they own Earth. We
Mm-hmm.
from the Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want to take over the Earth, and they want to use whatever they can to get rid of us. Now remember, they call conquistadors. They use many names. They call themselves blackamoors and tawny moors,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they label us also as Moors. So now we distinguish the difference by calling the ones of us who are Moors as righteous Moors, and the ones of them who still believe in Islamic Moorish doctrine, dirty Moors, because they know what they're doing. They're not doing this like our people is trapped in it by cultural theft. They steal our culture and sell it back to us. So we
Mm-hmm.
recognize our culture, so we take the bait. They don't know that we recognize, that we don't know that they not part of the culture, so they exploit that. That was our weakness. I was our Achilles heel.
Mm-hmm.
When they set up over here in the when Noble Drew Ali encountered them, they was in New Jersey and they called themselves Moorish Zionist Jews. They was
Mm-hmm.
the ones behind the Rothschilds. They was the ones behind the Bilderberg group. They were the one. All of these motherfuckers that we've been up front, the Rockefellers. They was behind them.
So these dirty some bitches are behind, and all these motherfuckers we think that was in control of every damn thing out front, like the Rothschild, Rockefellers, and all them ones you said, Bill Burr. Uh,
They
they
just
just puppets.
puppets.
They just puppets.
They actually, the term is called a cat's paw
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and a blood shield. The Rothschild translate is blood shield or red shield. And what they do is they use the pale faces to keep us out the institutions when they killed off all of the chiefs the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And by keeping us out of the institutions, we don't know that we infiltrated.
Right.
And you go back over the history books. Who betrayed Gabriel Prosper's revolution? A Negro. Who betrayed Denmark Vesey? A Negro. Who betrayed Toussaint L'Ouverture, a Negro? Who betrayed Nat Turner and told him where he was hiding? A Negro. Who murdered Noble Jew Ali? How did they get past his muftis? Because them the ones who infiltrated and gave him up to Rome, as they call it.
It makes sense, man.
Who infiltrated the Nation of Islam? It wasn't no pale faces infiltrating. It was Negroes. Right. It was Negroes that murdered Clarence 13X in Harlem. It was Negroes that killed off almost all the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar family in D.C.
Wow, I missed that story.
And they all part of the same organization. The Black Muslim Mafia is what they call themselves. When they trying to infiltrate the Nation of Islam in those groups. They the same ones who sold out Yahweh ben Yahweh. Because he wasn't doing nothing illegal, but they were. And because they was able to pin it on him because he was the leader. You know, so when you get down going through it and you feel like wait a minute, why we keep getting betrayed? Right?
It's almost like a Gaddafi thing.
It's exactly like, it's even worse than that, because these niggas will stand up there and give fiery oratory about overcoming the oppression of the white man. Never telling you it's a chess term, white in law, it's free white persons, and they Moors. It's in the Black's Law Dictionary. So
they
now
keep revising
us,
that Black Law Dictionary.
Because that's the authority on the linguistics of legalese.
Yeah, I had a copy or two of that. And they keep
changing. The best one to get is the first edition. The first edition tell you raw and uncut. It's
That's
just like
what I was told.
When you're reading colonial law and then you start reading modern law, it don't even read the same.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Lutheran, what was it? Was it the Lutheran Bible versus the damn King James or something? And you got all this extra damn shit in the King James that Bible didn't have.
No, it's 16 books between Malachi and Matthew in the Catholic Bible that's not in the Protestant Bible that was taken out when when Martin Luther rebelled against the church. Okay, before that, you also had something called the Coverdale Bible, and you had another one called the Tinsdale Bible. Those are old translations that go back, but they was all Catholic.
Where did the Coburn Bible come from?
That's just another translation. They all come from the same source, but the Bible itself is a scrambling of ancient Kemetic teachings in order to use it against you, because you recognize the stories in the Bible from your genetic memory. So that's what they was using against us.
I keep telling everybody it's a clue book. You got some clues in there you need to know.
The real trinity of the Bible is it's a riddle, it's a contract, right? And it's a map. The map is a star map. The scrambled up riddle is in the broken names, in the pieces of the names, and in the names being used out of context. And the contract is the Jacobin contract, what we call Old Testament. The Jacobin contract was to steal Esau's birthright, and Esau was the ruddy red man. And ruddy red is about me or the brother here that's the host, our complexion. Now, the Hebrews, modern day Hebrews, they don't have a fucking clue, because they believe that when they say Esau, they talking about the pale nations of Europe. They don't know they talking about the red-skinned man of the Americans. We was the founders of Egypt. Egypt was fucking Hollywood for us.
Okay.
They turned that shit into something else, but it's good they did, because everything we do artistically is from a spiritual place.
So we were here for the Chickahooly came. The Chickahooly.
We was here when they came.
Right.
The Chickahooly is another name for the Syrians from the Sirius star constellation.
Anunnakis.
Anunnakis is a mixture of tribes from across galaxies.
Okay.
So what we are to Earth is what the Anunnaki is to many galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
And they use marriage as a tool of political allegiance.
Right.
So when they go to war, like for instance, the only motherfuckers that the Anunnaki fear is the ones from Andromeda. They're the only ones that can rival them in both technological and spiritual advancement, and they almost can't beat them. It's one of those wars where if you fight these motherfuckers, ain't nobody gonna win in the end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So peace would be great if they to keep them from fighting. Peace would be great, because if ain't nobody gonna win in the end, what's the point in fighting?
Right. So this is why when the Galactic Council consists of Pleiadians, Arcturians, Syrians, from the Orion constellation, we call them the Orianos. And it's some more that y'all don't even know. Y'all can't even see the star system from Earth.
Right.
They that far away, right? And Andromeda strain, them motherfuckers they call them the Wraith in Stargate, but these motherfuckers ain't no punks.
Right.
But some of them is good and some of them is bad, just like humans.
Mm-hmm.
And they got two factions of them. The ones that we call benevolent, they working to keep the malevolent ones in check.
Mm-hmm.
If they
So
don't
let
keep
me
them
get
in,
this:
come on with it.
benevolent and malevolent. Which one is supposed to be good and spiritual, and which one's supposed to be bad and evil?
The benevolent is the ones who want to follow the laws of righteousness. The malevolent ones make it up as they go. And
Okay,
change the
and that.
rules. They'll change the rules in the split second.
Mm-hmm.
If they start losing the game according to the rule book they gave you, they're gonna cheat. They're gonna change the rules. That's what happened to us.
That sounds like somebody I know.
They probably from that strain.
That's great.
They'll change the rules as they go.
So a couple thousand years or 6,000 years ago, the Galactic Council put Earth under a light lock, which is a Pleiadian Arcturian light lock. Right? So it's an orb in a hexagon. They call it Metatron's cube. Right? It's actually a 21 side triangle. It's called like an isosceles triangle or some shit like that. And wrapped around that is what we would call the seal of David, which is actually the seal of Solomon, the 6-point star. The 3-dimensional form is Metatron's cube, the star of life. Because in order for us to get back where we have the forever time, in other words, break the light lock, break the death cycles, we have to break the riddle that produced the Metatron's cube. So the only way we could do that is first we got to find out who infiltrated us, where they came from, why they here, what they want, what we gonna do, what's the agreement in order to settle the conflict. Because the last time they came, Tahuti, Thoth, who was a prior incarnation of the self, said, fuck these motherfuckers. If we can't have it, ain't nobody getting it. We'll blow this bitch to smithereens. So Tiamat is now Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read the Emerald Tabs of Thoth.
You remember when he talking about the Dark Brothers, that he gonna come back in a long time in the future to get rid of the Dark Brothers because he got rid of them once before, but somebody called him back in. Those was Enlil children that called him back in the last time he got rid of them. Enlil tried to pull rank on Enki and started the conflict between his children and Inky children, and Ainana children, which gave a war between Anunnakis and Earthlings, and we was already hybrids. So the war in heaven landed on Earth, and we got caught in that shit, and it didn't have anything to do with us.
That's right. That's right.
It's about people being in the wrong universe with restricted will, I guess.
Well, this is the free will universe. Enlil's universe, because he owns several of them. That's his personal property. They are called restricted will universe. Whatever he say, go. And that's why he couldn't understand why the people of Earth didn't acknowledge him. And he kept crying, I'm the only guy. I'm the only one that count. I outrank all these motherfuckers. But we didn't care about that because he wasn't trying to do righteousness. He was trying to exploit the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what caused him to have a tantrum, because mitochondria rule on Earth. But where in the galaxies that he owned, Y chromosome rule.
Sound like a Democrat having a temper tantrum.
That's it. He act like one. That's where they get their character from.
I just call him any kind of insane, because hey, it doesn't matter whether they're Democrat or Republican. Some of them just don't see the light.
Well, a lot of them seeing it now. If you pay attention, these pale-skinned people been telling us more than our people. If you remember, I don't know, a lot of us don't know this, but the pale-skins kept saying, why you mad at us? It's your people that did it to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that before.
And we didn't know they was talking about motherfuckers that looked like us that wasn't us.
And they didn't know they wasn't us.
They couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, they didn't know they wasn't us. They thought they was us, but they didn't know they wasn't us.
Right.
Yeah.
So they brought slaves with them from Europe. They got kicked out of Europe by Europeans, and we helped them. So if you go back in history, you'll find out that the Algonquin tribes, as they call us in modern terminology, went to the Iberian Peninsula to aid in the ousting of the so-called Moors who ruled Europe. Right? So they had to build all those statues over there as a continuous public vexation and grievances. That's why they got all these men with these little boys grabbing on to their legs and shit over there, because they was a homosexual. They know that when they penetrate anally the male, they rupture the root chakra, and he can never be fit to rule at that point.
Ooh.
So that's why they trying to turn all the boys into homosexuals.
So they can never be fit to rule.
Yep. And that came straight from the Anunnaki.
See, that's why we really had to have you on, my brother, because a lot of this stuff that's been going on now. Me and Dickie has been doing this for a long time, and and I've been in my awakening for a while. And since you approached and you came on the scene, you was laying it down for us. A lot of the puzzles, the pieces of the puzzle started connecting for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I had to have you on, because basically my higher self was kicking me in the ass. It was just telling me, look, you gotta have this man on, because it's like I said, everything which you was bringing to the people, it was all resonating. You know what I mean? Especially me. So that's why I was, I'm just, so happy you come on the live and really, sum a lot of things down for us. Because I know Dickie had some questions to ask you, and I got a couple of questions to ask you too, because when the moment when you start, when you said you did a 16-year bid, and the moment when you finally found out that all this shit was bullshit, and this was all a stage show, how did you take it?
Traumatically. It upset my internal self. Because every path that I thought was leading me to the right direction was misleading me, and I couldn't figure out why is this misleading.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started to go back into the different languages and putting the pieces, I'm like, holy shit. Right? And it's the same way how I uncovered that the ones behind it by looking at history, it tells you right there. You don't need nobody to tell you.
Right.
All you got to do
Right.
is, who betrayed the African World Revolution was the question. It's a whole book one of our elders wrote. Frantz Fanon, when my Pan-African studies led me to Frantz Fanon, led me to Walter Rodney, led me to Stephen Biko, Nelson Mandela. When I got there studying all of them, then I started talking to scholars from Africa. Some of them even work in the system over here. They be corrections officers and different shit. And they be telling me like, look, we from Africa, but y'all from here.
Right.
And it used to like throw me off, like why they keep telling us we from Africa and we from here. Then I started studying the Anunnaki. I started seeing a military strategy of how they changed names and faces, and they named children after their siblings' children in order to take over his shit, different stuff like that. They call it defacing the guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they deface the old guys and they replace them with new guys,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why they show us with the Jesus story, what they do, how they operate. When you go back to the Nicene Council, well, none of them motherfuckers pale.
Mm-hmm.
Constantine wasn't pale, but if you see him now, a picture of him, he looked like he pale, but he wasn't pale back then. That was so that they
Okay,
can hide.
so them tawny Moors and them blacker Moors, they was like part of the Nicene Council.
They was the Nicene Council.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. That's what I kept. Yeah, there. Okay.
And not only
Now,
were they'd also, when they first infiltrated, they infiltrated in Greece by installing Alexander. Alexander was the son of Enlil.
Okay.
And when they installed Alexander, they told him that he had to go to India to get the scroll, a caste scroll. It's called the caste scroll.
mm-hmm.
So once he conquered the Indus Valley, they said he conquered the world. And that the Holy Roman Empire would last for the duration now because Alexander conquered. But they didn't remain Greece. They became a Greco-Roman empire. Where did the Romans come from? They came in as Etruscans. They wasn't called Moors yet. They was called Etruscans. And they came out of North Africa because they got kicked out of Africa first. Then the group that got kicked out of what we call today the Middle East, which is actually Northeastern Africa, they got kicked out of there and set up what we call the Ottoman Empire and the Byzantine kings. So when they came together in what we call today Rome, they established a truce between them because they was all family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they decided to use the Roman conquest by undermining the Catholic Church was actually the house of the Black Madonna.
Okay.
So they took it apart and replaced it. They put the nuns in black as opposed to white. They put the Pope in white as opposed to black because he's not the Black Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it was a whole bunch of trickery going on, but it's certain stuff in the structure they not allowed to change.
The
so
Black
they just
Madonna has to be a female, right?
Has to be.
Right.
Has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right? We call her the Dark Mother. She got to be melanated. And that's not a knock on Europe, the pale nations of Europe, because they are what we call the baby daughter, the babies of Isis, the youngest children, with Scotia and Scotta.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those are the organics of Europe. The inorganics, we call them the Tamahu. Right? Those was the ones made in the laboratory on Mount Sinai by Ninursin, which was the son of Enlil. And he fucked their genetics up trying to conceal it by not using carbon in the test tubes. He used sulfur.
Now this was several 100,000 years ago, though, wasn't it?
No, this is about 8,000 years ago.
Okay.
There is no record of a pale-skinned European before 8,000 years ago. That doesn't exist.
See, we've been telling people for a long time, you know. We've been telling people for a long time, and then they just look at you like, you know, like you crazy. And now all this shit is coming out, and now the power, I mean, the order now being restored now. So, I mean, a lot of people don't, you know, they got a rude awakening now coming. So it's been a crazy year so far, and now I remember you did a live yesterday, and you were saying something about this 4th of July. You said a lot of women is gonna really start leaving their jobs and stuff.
So
can you really sum that down for me?
Yeah. So the way that the old system was set up, it was a system of exploitation at every angle. The women want their power back. They want their planet back. And the only way they're going to get it is to stop supporting the old system until it crumbles. And the women decided to start July the 4th. Well, the live you're talking about was 2 days ago. And yesterday, you see Trump came out yesterday, and he done a rally in Illinois. Right? Now, if you look at the name of the city, it's a code.
I didn't see that rally.
Yeah, you got to check it out, because he talked about the election steal. See, this is what people don't understand. And when Trump said they stole the election, he know what he talking about, because
I've been telling the people that shit since 2020.
Right. But here go the thing. The average Joe has no understanding of the reach of military intelligence. Military intelligence knew they was going to steal the election ahead of time. So they monitored every aspect of the election, from the ballot drops to the electronics, and they was able to catch every dirty hand red-handed. Now, they not announcing this in the news over here, but in Australia, they announced that the United States Supreme Court then decertified the 2020 election. So if they announce this to the public, how is this going to affect the people?
Well, the ones that thought Joe Biden got a damn fucking 81 million damn vote, I think they need a smack in the damn face anyway.
I believe in shock and awe. I believe in lay the conspiracy out in front of the people, so that people can see the conspirators for the dirt they did. They've been running executions like fucking a assembly line in Gitmo for the last 2 years.
Yeah, because they done executed George Bush ass.
Both of them. Hillary. Right. The most recent trial was the Anthony Fauci trial.
Right.
Right. So when you look on my IG page, you see all that shit, but motherfuckers still don't believe it. They ain't gonna believe it into the mainstream media. This is what's gonna happen. While they in denial, they think they in Egypt, but they ain't. But while they in denial, they gonna see we interrupt this to bring you a special broadcast. It's going to be Donald Trump introducing Larry Hoover. This Larry Hoover job is to give the report. The report is done. That's why they picked that city in Illinois.
Is that his hometown?
He's from Chicago.
Okay.
Chief Malik Angel Bay is also from Chicago. He is the what we call the High Chief Mufti on the land. Meaning that it's his job and the Peace Stone Rangers' job when this shit is up, to go gather all of the dirty Moors first, and Big Tookie and Larry, Big Tookie gonna go organize the C Nation out west, and Larry gonna organize growth and development. They gonna tell y'all exactly what's going on the land. We was in
Now,
the fight for our life, and we didn't even know it.
right. Where does Tennessee and Alabama fit off into this?
That's the part of the Alabama is Ali Baba, meaning the Great Father. That's the Great Father's land over here. A lot of these names, Dave, because we didn't always speak English. So they gave us a lot of names to our land in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, and Arabic, because that was how they was trying to undermine our authority. Because we supposed to use oral tradition on the land. We not supposed to have to write law down, because the righteousness, the law is written in your heart already.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me say this. I've always wondered, how did we become Negroes, blacks, Black Americans, and fucking damn, what they call them, African American? I had to remember the term. I ain't using it so long. African American,
Those
because my grandmama was what they would call half Indian, half black, I guess they would say. And her mama and her parents were fucking damn full-blooded damn Indians. And then on my damn granddaddy's side, his damn people were dark-skinned damn Indians. Now I keep wondering why. How did we get so away from the damn being called Indians?
First of all, Indian is a term that was brought over here, the same as Native American. We organic over here. Those are legal terminologies and designation. Every one of those terms you just said, it was like playing 3-card money at the Subway in New York. You ain't gonna never win the game playing that game, right?
Right.
So they gave us these terms and to erase us using paper genocide. They brought their slaves with them. You gotta look at who Rome fought. When you find out that Rome was fighting Huns, Mongols, and Vedics, what we call Hindus, and then you look at the slave or the Indian, the Native American population or the Indian population, that's who the motherfuckers is. So then when you go back and you look in the books and you find out during the Trail of Tears, they reclassified us as Negro, Black, Coloreds, and African Americans. And they reclassified them as Native Americans, Indians, and Indigenous Americans. It was a paper genocide that they used to try to erase us from the books. So the story, the narrative they was using is that we all came from Africa. We not all from Africa, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That don't make us have a problem with Africans.
Well, it's kind of like the birth certificate. It's kind of like a genocide. It classify your ass dead to sea.
That's
And
because that's the salvage rights law that we under. Because the allegation in the World Court that brought about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was that we crashed our landmass into their ship, the Plymouth. We know it as the Mayflower, right? So remember Malcolm said we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. He's talking about that ship.
Right.
Because then in the court, they were saying that we crashed. This is why they had that 10 square mile city state called DC that we had to reclaim, which we did. And to reclaim the city state of DC, all we have to do is switch from admiralty law to the law of the land, and then it can revert back to the totem lines as opposed to the flags. Right. So we did all that stuff, and the people was looking, but they didn't know what they were seeing because they don't understand civics. And that's what the conversation with me and Taj was about. That's who I study civics from. right? And I couldn't understand why everybody been asking this man the same goddamn questions for 50 years, and he been giving them the same answers for 50 years, and they haven't figured out nothing new to ask him, right? Once you understand civics, there's a process that goes in place that the de jure has to follow in order to reclaim what's rightfully theirs from the de facto.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I had that conversation with him, I had done that shit 3 years ago.
Right.
The 3-year anniversary actually was the 22nd of this month of breaking the code, and the contract ended on July the 4th, 2019. The 3-year anniversary of that, which is the sign of Jonah. Because remember, in the end, no sign will be given except the sign of Jonah. 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the beast.
That's
the 3
what I
days
get.
and 3. Right. So it's an increment of 3, but instead of it being days and nights, it's 3 years of days and nights.
And wasn't that ain't this the 3rd year?
The 3rd year be July the 4th. That's when the women see they right on cue with it, because they declared that this 4th of July they done supporting the system and they gonna be walking off their jobs. They put it in the public domain, but they gonna do this more spontaneous than they is based on the organized structure.
Well, I've been telling people for years it was a fake holiday anyway, because according to the Act of 1871, they reversed the damn independence back to the Queen in the damn way, and Congress committed treason.
Well, the whole 4th of July Declaration of Independence was to tell us that the contract ended on the 4th of July. Right? So we didn't know that, though. I had to figure it out. I was like, how am I going to figure out what this shit means? My mama said, you smart, you'll figure it out.
Right.
So then when I started stepping back, I was like, you too involved. I'm too involved in this. I take it too personal. I had to stop taking everything so goddamn personal and just look at it as a chess game on the 5th dimensional level. And I seen shit so much clearer at that point that I was like, holy fucking shit. Nobody ain't gonna never believe that the enemy ain't the pale man. It's a nigga that look like us.
Exactly right. Because we be like, every day I be like, I get around people that asking questions, and you giving them what's your thoughts on it, and what you've been hearing, and what you've been researching, and what you've been tapping into your higher self to find answers, and they just look at you like you fucking nuts. And I just be telling, well, you gonna see it in the wash. You gonna see when all this shit crash, and you find out who these your leaders really is. And now it's like, a lot of people that doubted me 10 years ago when I was telling them this shit. Now they trying to come. They in fear right now. So I was, like I said, you came along and you start bringing, a lot of pieces start fitting in with me right now, especially, you talking about it's 4th of July. And like me and Dinky was talking about this just last night when I was telling, when in about 2012, and when the Mayan calendar ends, all this shit was going to start revealing.
Yeah, I could have done this shit back in 2012.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I couldn't do it on parole. I couldn't do it while I was locked up. You have to be free. You have to be on the street to assert the jurisdiction. You have to be what you call free from bond service.
Right.
And so this is what led me to walking off my job in 2018, because I couldn't do the work while I'm going to work, because it's counterproductive. It's like it's like swimming upstream, right? Because I can't tell y'all that the system is deceiving us and I'm participating in it.
Right.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Now, if you look in the messages, I just sent y'all a picture of Donald Trump from Donald Trump rally last night. And you see a finger pointing at the 8802. Tex, Illinois. Men
Okay.
Done, Illinois.
Okay.
Hey, that number that text Donald Trump is like 880 something 22, and I keep saying the 8th of August, the 8th day of 2022. It's like, what's gonna happen on that day?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen, but I know by August all of this shit gonna be on a standstill. Ain't gonna be no food, ain't gonna be no trucks running or none of that. But the point that the key right now is Men Done, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that the role of the men, that's why it's primarily blue, and normally if a Republican, it'd be primarily red.
Uh-huh.
So the men done. That means that all of the chiefs and all of the 500 chiefs that made their decisions on how they was gonna do everything, now it has to come out. I think 822 might be the deadline, but 88 means a queen is seated. 22 means she raised. That's talking about the Grand Matriarch.
Right.
Grand Matriarch is Mother Khadijah coming out of the Nation of Islam, and so this is where we at with it.
All right.
You know, so they just giving us like guidelines, flipping us the signs. If you perceptive enough, you see stuff like that. Like most people, like I didn't even see the date at first, because all I seen was the queen seated raised. That's raising the matriarch, right? But then somebody else mentioned it's a date, and I looked at it and I was like, "Holy shit, it is August 8th."
Because we do have some members been asking that. So thank you for you giving us that answer on that.
Damn, what happened?
I don't know. It keeps jumping out. I don't know what's wrong with Telegram today. Telegram has been, normally we have a good, good session out of it. But like you said, this information, they trying to not to let people start waking up to this. You know what I mean? So, but Dickie, I know you said you had a lot of questions to ask them, and when we talked about last night, and pretty much he answered all of mine, and how can the people really reach you? Because some of my listeners, have not heard about you, because I was talking to a couple days ago, and how can they reach you, and how can, when you go on YouTube, and how they can look you up?
So normally when I go on YouTube, somebody is posting my old material. Mm-hmm. And because I told them I can't man all of these platforms. It's just me. I move like a team, but it's just me.
Right.
Yeah,
I think I sent you a little. I think I sent you a little link. I said, hell, you can just have my YouTube channel and post all you want to.
Yeah. So I just told the people, if you see a video that you think that the people need to hear, post it on YouTube, and then that's what they've been doing. Okay. So that's how those get over there. I do classes when Young Elder asks me to with Young Elder on his YouTube channel.
Okay.
If somebody invite me to their channel, I'll come on their channel and do. But finding me, I'm on Facebook under Rod Hayes. Rod Hayes 75 on Instagram. At the top of the Rod Hayes, right, and on the top of the Rod Hayes page is my backup page, Morpheus Mysticus Megas.
Okay. Yep. All right. Facebook didn't like the information I put up sometimes, so they found disabled my account. I kept telling Mark Zuckerberg he was going to jail any damn way.
Mark Zuckerberg is a fucking robot.
Yeah, I thought so.
He the same as Data from Star Trek.
Hey, if you notice, he favored Data from Star Trek.
They the same shit. That's why the motherfucker ain't aged in 25 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why Kanye exposed his ass, talking about he wasn't human.
Hey, you know what he talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know a lot of
Uh-huh.
people around. I know a lot of people around me really, they bash Kanye, and I say, y'all better start listening. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't just crazy. Everybody ain't just, they, you got to
That's the
wrap them up in
default.
a nut house.
That's the default. Whenever they don't
Yeah,
understand because they don't want to do no research, they just classify you crazy and try to dismiss you.
Hey, that's what my family do. I've been trying to teach my family my shit, show her them. Cause see, I started waking up in 2005. Cause goddamn it, Hurricane Katrina didn't make no sense no damn more. I mean, why God gonna come in here and tear up all this motherfucking shit and kill all these people? And I said, this shit ain't making no sense no more. And God said, hey, hold on, let me show you. This is harp and all kinds of shit going on, causing all these damn weather patterns. And I said, oh hell,
Well, even
shit.
all of that wasn't gonna flood New Orleans out like it did had not the Army Corps engineers blew those levees.
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay, so the government used that as the FEMA training program because FEMA had to be equipped and they needed a real-time scenario. So they just was like, we want this area, we want to move the organic people. So FEMA gonna naturally come in, right, and try to do what they can, but they don't have no disaster experience. The Red Cross got more disaster experience,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
right? But they sent FEMA in there, right? So all of that was just, it was training. It was to clear out and to remind us about St. Bernard Parish. Half of New Orleans is under the ocean.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All you gotta do is look up St. Bernard Parish. Half of it is under the Gulf.
I believe you're right too, because see, I went to New Orleans, dropped a damn load one day, and then I went at least 60 miles south of New Orleans out there in the damn Gulf, and I was still on fucking damn land. But there's a lot of water around me now, but I was still on damn land.
Well,
I guess.
the New Orleans wasn't never. It used to be called Fort New Orleans, and before that, it was called the Port of New Orleans. And this was the Louisiana port purchase was to sell that port to the French. The Spaniards sold it to the French. I mean, the French, and no, the French took it from the Spaniards, but sold it to the English. The English
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
used the Louisiana Purchase and to declare our land as abandoned,
Okay.
right? Because we was
Mm.
all fighting Seminole Wars in Florida. If you look up castles in America, you're gonna blow your own mind. We had
Castles
castles.
in America.
We got castles over here older than any castle in Europe.
Hmm.
But they telling you that we just came over here and that none of that shit is normal. Like they goes back to the world fairs of the 1800s, and you will see where we was balling out of control over here.
Right.
Hmm.
They blew up cities
Right.
with dynamite and TNT. They built dams in order to hold the water back, and then they blowed the dams in order to flood the cities. Where downtown Chicago at, prior to downtown Chicago, is in Lake Michigan.
Yeah. It makes sense for her.
You know, so a lot of this stuff we don't remember. I remember a lot of this shit from genetic memory.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a problem remembering with my genetic memory sometimes.
That's because they taught us to get away from that inner voice.
Uh-huh. But hey, sometimes I spend all day long talking to my damn self because he don't want making any damn sense right now. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Because I remember that you did a live and you were saying about when the kids when you're in school and when you go in a daydreaming state and they think you're not trying to listen to they teachings and stuff. I remember you did that live on that. I was that boy that was daydreaming. I was that one
Mm.
that sit back because I knew something was wrong with the educational system. I knew it, and when I first got out of high school, and that's when I started more understanding about what's what, and how this system really was which really have us enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
So it so like all my life I knew I had that feeling, and now and I'm 40 years old now. It's like I could see what they trying to next move what they trying to do. So it's just crazy now that we every time ever since I've been on it, and when I was learning that this information that how this whole country was it finna fall. You know what I mean? It's like I see every bit of they or what they trying to do. So I just appreciate you coming on and really enlighten us with your message, brother.
Hey,
Yep.
Rod.
Y'all can have me
Uh,
back on again. I only got a few more minutes on this episode, but y'all can have me back on here again. I'll come back.
hey, Rod.
Okay, man, I do appreciate it.
Didn't you say the black women are the guardian angels of this planet?
Absolutely correct. If you go back, it's a book by Barry Shango called Black Woman, the Original Guardian Angel, that goes into the sciences of ancient Egypt to show you where the angel concept even come from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now this is how I be asking I be running to the sisters and I be saying, hey, you heard of Rod Hayes? Cause y'all gotta get to your booty shaking to get this energy going here. So it's something we gotta do. And it's no, I ain't never heard of Rod Hayes. I said, y'all don't know if y'all don't know y'all the original guardian angels of this planet, and then the eyes get real wide and shit. I said, no. Well, who is this Rod Hayes? I said, you need to go on YouTube and find any find any video you can, just watch it. That's how I get them. That's how I get them interested. I say, hey, y'all the original guardian angels of the planet. Well, where's this Rod Hayes at? Let me look him up. That's the only way I can get them to look at it. If I say, just check out Rod Hayes on YouTube, they ain't gonna pay no attention. But when
Mm-hmm.
I do it like that, oh yeah, I see the light bulb go off in the head then.
Yeah. We got a sister, I think she's trying to talk to Latria.
Well, okay. Cause I know
I
it's been
think,
a serious echo on here. I think.
yeah. I think the sister Latria Brown had a question.
Do you have a question?
Oh, I unmuted my mic accidentally. I'm here as a listener, but I'm so glad I tuned in to Telegram today. I was actually on another channel, Building a Nation, and I saw the invitation. And any chance I get to see Rod Hayes live, I'm on it. Because you can't never catch him because, they got him blocked so many different ways, but he still come through like that ninja warrior he is. So I appreciate
Oh yeah.
y'all.
I
Oh,
appreciate you,
thank you.
sister. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, is anything else you want to really put out and for us to know? The,
Be prepared to see our people in a position we haven't been seen in a very long time. This is a power move that the sisters is making on July the 4th and thereafter. It's all
okay.
about power move. It's a power grab, and the sisters is going, when a couple of them start, it's going to be a ripple effect. Be prepared
Okay.
because the ones that know what to do going to automatically start doing stuff without anybody telling them.
Yeah.
We just got to be wise enough that when they make the move, we support the action.
Right.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
that's why I'm trying to get everybody behind this free Larry Hoover thing, cause I realized it was a phony damn government years damn ago, and everything I knew they done since 1871. I didn't realize the contract. It was a contract, but I realized after everything after 1871, that shit fraud.
Well, what made the
Mm-hmm.
contract stand for 200 years? It was actually up. First, it was up in when Noble Drew Ali could have ended it because they violated all of the
Mm-hmm.
treaties, but he didn't end it because we needed an opportunity to learn how to run government. That's in the oral statements and prophecies. I'm gonna leave these people in power long enough for y'all to learn how to run a government. Right? In 1776 to 1976 is the 200 years from the slaughter of Crispus Attucks and the writing of the Constitution in his blood. He was one of the chiefs on the land. Right? They call him Crispus Attucks, but his real name was Crispy Apple.
Crispy Apple.
Right? It was a Native American name. Right? So they had to give it another name. But anyway, they wrote the Constitution in his blood. So the blood of the righteous shall not be spilled in vain. And they knew that under the Babylonian money magic and the Babylonian blood magic. And that's how they were sacrificing us. So it take one of us to put a cease and desist to all righteous blood being spilled. It will no longer be honored for the wicked to spill the blood and sacrifice the righteous in order to do wickedness. Right? So I got videos from 2019 where I'm talking about it, and I'm saying that there will be no sacrifices this time. We not accepting any sacrifices. If you did the dirt, you're going to suffer for the dirt. If you did the righteousness and you was persecuted, you're going to receive the rewards of the righteous. That's all it is to it. And now we are moving back to prominence in the continuity of government. The part that we at now is called end game. It's the transfer of power complete. Now it has to be made known to the public, and the start of it is July the 4th, the 3-year anniversary of the closing of the contract.
Right, I got one more thing I want to ask you, because I know you got to go.
Come on, God.
How do you get your family to see this shit when you've been
You
trying to
don't.
get them to see it for you?
The hardest people to get to see what you talk about is family members. Familiarity breeds contempt. That shit is real. Familiarity breeds contempt. They ain't gonna listen to you unless you did something so big they can't deny it. I asked my mama the same question.
Because they keep asking me, what have you done to change the world? And I keep saying, well, if you each one teach one at a time, I said, eventually that's changing the world, don't you think? No, they don't see it that way. You got to do something miraculous. You know,
that's what my mama said. My mama said that don't worry about your brothers and your sisters, because Jesus' brothers and sisters didn't walk with him either. She said, so you ain't no better than Jesus, so don't expect your brothers and sisters to understand where you coming from. That don't mean they don't love you. They just don't think that you can do what you can do. They don't know who you are. They don't know the calling that you have and the anointing on your life. That's what my mama told me. I thought she was just talking Christian jargon. But it turned out to be a strategic, wise move. Don't even try to reach your family. By the time they realize what's going on, they're going to be saying, why you ain't tell me? I tried, motherfucker. You ain't listen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What if I told you that I already told you, but you didn't listen?
Yeah.
That's it.
I told you what I told you, and you told me I didn't know what I was talking about when I was telling you, so I stopped telling you, and you're going to have to see the results at the end. That's how it was with my family. Like, my oldest sister, she know what's up. My sister right under me, she know what's up. My oldest brother say, look, whatever it is, you going to figure it out because you the man. My next oldest brother tell my man, you don't know what you talking about. My baby brother, he confused as fuck. But when it all come out, they're going to be like, oh, because everybody going to have their shit. Because I told my mama, before I get anything, I'm going to make sure my brothers and sisters get all their shit. So I went in and on their behalf and did the work that they didn't know how to do because they didn't know it was necessary. And because I had the blood and the rights, I was able to secure their blood rights too.
Right.
So now, and it ain't just my siblings. Like, I got extended family. They all ride whatever I'm on, they on. If I go to Chicago, all my cousins and shit in Chicago, whatever ride on, we on, because they've seen from experience, me living with them, that when I tell them that a duck can pull a truck, they say, hey, Hook that duck up. He finna pull this truck.
Mm-hmm.
and when the naysayers say they know duck gonna pull no truck, Ryan said that duck gonna pull that truck. Hook that motherfucker up.
They
Because
don't
he ain't never
understand.
told us, right, it might sound far-fetched in your head, but he ain't never told us no bullshit. Everything he say paying out to be 100 in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, so they didn't
See that?
experience where to the siblings and the immediate family and those who's closest to you, they view you in a certain way that's not what you're capable of doing deep within. They can't see that part. They too close to the light to see the light.
Okay.
You know,
Now I got a bunch of preachers in my family, and
that's the problem right there.
they don't really like me and shit. And I keep telling them all the time. I said, if y'all gonna preach, but you really need to teach. I said, but y'all don't even preach on John 10:34. I said, Jesus turned around, and told them
I
all,
come not
said,
to
hey, ain't
bring
it
peace
written?
but forward.
Yeah, ain't it written that y'all are gods too? So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Jesus just turned around and told them, said, hey, y'all motherfuckers just like me. So what's the problem? Wake up.
But they
But
don't understand it. Even the preachers don't really understand what that means.
hmm,
They talk
they
that motherfucking shit, but all they know is eschatology or what the Bible school taught them.
hmm,
They don't know nothing different because the authority to them is the Bible school, because the Bible school is what teach you how to read the Bible to the slaves. They told us
Right.
that way back when they tell us how they gave us the preacher, the reverend, the revered ones in the clan.
yeah, but the Bible also tell them, but you already know this. I ain't even got to say it, but you already know. It said, be discernment and seek knowledge.
Yeah.
That just them clues to me.
Yeah, that's because you paying attention to what it say instead of what the people saying. It's a difference. The Bible say one thing, but the people saying something different.
Right. And they
Mm-hmm.
ain't paying attention. But let you know they really not reading for themselves, or they don't understand what they reading.
They don't understand what they reading first, second. They not reading the Bible anyway because they too lazy to read it. I done read the Bible at least 5 times.
Yeah.
Straight
Yep.
Yeah.
through. And
Mm-hmm.
that ain't even counting all of the references and cross references and the Strong's Concordance and word to word translations that I was doing on my own to make sure that the verse was right.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Now,
the straight 5 reads.
and like I tell them, we living in Revelations, whether y'all want to believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. And revelations mean to make known. Age of Aquarius. All that shit y'all used to
Yeah.
believe, you're going to either be about it or you're going to be proven to be a hypocrite.
Right. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
But
they
see,
don't believe hypocrites is real though, because they don't believe they can be one.
that's right, because they think they're a Christian, a high mighty ass Christian. They can't be wrong because they go to church and the damn preacher damn sure wouldn't stand wrong and shit. Huh? He's the
Mm-hmm.
number one enemy, just like somebody else.
Yeah.
Number one enemy, in my opinion, because they get blinded.
Well, we gotta remember the preachers wasn't always the enemies they've become. It's the ones who had to use it to teach the truth, and then the ones that they was raising up was getting murdered before they ever
Mm-hmm.
take the podium, because we was telling the truth in the church. When you go back and study Vernon Johns, you will know that the Christians used to sound like Malcolm, and the Muslims used to sound like Martin.
Right.
Now the
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Muslims, now that shit reversed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because,
Right.
Right.
Vernon Johns, one of his most famous speeches is safe to kill Negroes in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was at their head. The
Now, what
same,
was it?
even Martin. Martin was like, I'm tired of marching for some shit that I was supposed to have been born into.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to talk about that. He got enough material where they can keep his radical shit out of the mainstream, and then they can push his pussy ass shit. But he was more radical than he was about that marching. That was just a military strategy of the day to wake the
Mm-hmm.
people up.
Yeah.
If I'd have been back there with Martin, this shit would have been over with, dog. At the age I am now, what I know now, if I'd have been back in that time, I'd have slaughtered these motherfuckers with the word.
Right.
Right.
But now, you know, all of the institutions is so corrupted that we have to figure out another way. So Gil Scott said the revolution will not be televised. I said, thank you, Gil, because this shit gonna play the fuck out on social media.
Hey, Gil Scott
Yep.
Heroin.
Yeah. And I mean, we at that time, we at that moment now. So that's why I had to have you on, brother, because you know, like I said, you the only person that I really, you know, reached out to do a live on, because like I told you earlier that my higher self was tearing me up. Like, I mean, you got to have this man on, because like I said, he's telling the truth, and he putting the truth out on the line. You gotta have him on this channel, because that's what we stand for, is the truth. You know, I know a lot of people is still trying to, you know, figure everything out. And you know, this channel, what me and Vicky created, so we can, you know, we can come together, so we can start relating. We start coming together more. You know what I mean? So the like-minded people.
Yeah. So, like I say, y'all can have me on here again, man. You know, most of the time right now I'm on the sit down because Big Mama, I've been doing live since Big Mama didn't tell me to.
Okay.
You know, but if you need me, you knock, I knock back.
That'll work.
All right.
I sure
That'll work,
appreciate
brother.
you.
Being said, excuse me, gentlemen, thanks for the
Yes,
platform
ma'am.
today. Brother Rod, I do have a question. I just listened to a live that you recorded. This might have been yesterday. You was on Young Elders channel, and you were speaking about, you know, all of our brothers that's incarcerated on these drug charges, and how they really were acting as government agents and shouldn't have been charged with anything. They should have had what you call
Qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity. Can you elaborate more? Do you know how hard I am to go into this courtroom and free our brothers right now with this knowledge?
We finna bust the whole system up. All you got to do is watch what's about to happen. The courts is operating now on a per diem basis, and they pretty much have the order to close. So most of what you're seeing now, they are putting cases on continuance because they can't proceed. Just watch what's happening.
I'm
But
listening, and I'm paying attention.
The law that they was under, the law say that the government can't commit a crime, lure a citizen into the criminal act, and then charge the criminal with the crime.
Right.
That's exactly what Iran-Contra proves, that the government was behind the drugs.
Okay.
And if the government was behind the drugs, all of the ones who was duped and was citizens that was being party to the government action, they can't be prosecuted. But nobody knew that at the time this shit was going on.
Yeah, but ain't them lawyers, they just there to protect that system instead
They
of
job, the lawyer, look, the lawyer is a bar member, the prosecutor a bar member, and the judge is a bar member.
Okay.
they
That's
ought
an
to protect the
automatic
bar.
conflict of interest.
That's right. That's an automatic conflict of interest. Because I've got a picture somewhere in my computer where this Miami federal courthouse on the rooftop, it looks like a ship.
Look, there's so much shit going on with them courts. But King George III in 1863 established the first bar association in Savannah, Georgia. And then when they set up the D.C., they put the headquarters there. It's called the American Bar Association. All bar members have titles of nobility prohibited by the Constitution.
Okay.
Can I add
Yeah.
one more thing? You know, everybody keep talking about 1776 and the 4th of July and Independence Day. Just based on my research and listening to Rod Hayes, how he breaks down um what actually happened when they did the signing of the Constitution. Technically, the United States is still under British rule. These
They
motherfuckers ain't free.
they was under British rule. The city state was the military arm that was DC, and they was under the
Okay,
control
so
of
let's
the
let's go back
Crown of
to
England.
okay, let's go back to earlier this year in the spring when they decided to make Washington D.C. an actual state. It was published on the news, but people let that slip under the rug. Like, what was the whole purpose and point behind that? Why y'all just now making DC a state?
Well, they had to do something with DC because we overthrew it. So we had to incorporate it into the government on its own accord, as separate from the three city states of DC, London, and Rome.
They scrambling our signal, Rod. I'm
Yeah,
across
they
the water from you. I'm
yeah,
in Milwaukee at the lakefront, and they messing it up.
yeah. Yeah, they've been doing it all. They've been doing that the whole live. It has been echo after echo, and they've been blinking out. So they normally Telegram used to be it'd be a lot more smoother than this, but you know how they is with this message. You know they don't want this message to get out. So,
Yeah, and they
but
don't want people coming on here asking those smart, intelligent questions and breaking them down even further. You know, it's one thing for one person to, be the griot, but then when somebody else come on here and basically co-sign what that person is saying, then they're like, oh shit, the mass is waking up. We got to shut this down.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
It
So
doesn't matter what they really try to shut down, they still can't stop what's coming.
they can't stop what's
Sure
coming. It's too
can't.
big.
It's too
No.
big. They can't. I told Mark Zuckerberg that. I told him I give a damn how many times you shut me down. You
I
can't
stay
stop
in
what's coming.
Facebook jail.
Well, y'all already know it's the flow of energy. You can't stop energy. You cannot stop
and
energy, no
Yeah,
matter
and
what.
they done
YouTube.
took it.
Now
I'm
YouTube.
on
I just
I'm
recently.
on my seven. I'm on my seven.
Yeah. So you can wrap us
Mm-hmm.
on up, close us out how you do. I got another thing I gotta do over
Hey,
here with my brother.
brother Uncle Rod Hayes, before you go, I had a real quick question. I missed most of it. I'm gonna have to catch it on the replay. But I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that has been coming to light in the shift and transition. The first couple of shifts were the first couple of signs of the shift and transition of power were the farms being burnt down and the cattle being killed and the Similac, the baby food being pulled off the shelves. I know that was a real big thing, and it was mainly that was the main one that was talked about on mainstream media. But my next question for this new one that I feel is a sign is the turnover of what's it called was it Roe versus Wade?
Roe
Roe
versus
versus
Wade.
Wade.
Listen,
Yeah, Roe versus Wade with the
abortion.
abortions, the right to
Mm-hmm.
abortions, right? And it's happened. Well, Mississippi was a part of the turnover, and I'm in Mississippi right now.
Well, Mississippi is where my family's origins trace back to Mississippi. King Hoover's trace back to Mississippi. Angel Bay traced back to Mississippi. Tukey traced back to Louisiana, which is still Mississippi Basin.
Yes, sir. I remember from studying your videos that, and I did some genealogy research, and my family ties is in Mississippi as well.
Mm-hmm. So Mississippi is the tribes, the oldest tribes on the land is from the Mississippian tribes. It's our job to come up and restore balance when the balance is out of order.
Okay. Okay, because our last name is Hubbard, but it was Harris before Hubbard, and before Harris it was Kang, Kang. But I can't seem to find anything after my great grandmother.
Right. A lot of our records is in mountains in under lock and key that we're gonna have access to on the flip side.
Okay. Okay. One question. Can you tell me anything about the last name Harris or Kang, Kang?
Those are slight variations. Like the name Harris is in reference to the Edomite hairy ones, the red-haired children of the land, which had the red hair all over their body. They call us Bigfoots.
Okay.
Right. And Mississippi is called Bigfoot country. My mama nickname was Bigfoot. Right. So all of this is those names are significant to the Mississippians, but it's more than just a name.
Right. I'm writing this down. Okay. Because like me and my daughter, we have like this light brownish like sandy brown reddish hair.
Yeah,
that shimmers like gold in the sunlight.
Yeah, it's gonna turn. If you stay in the sun too long, it'll turn copper red.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Gratitude, and I'm gonna definitely catch the replay of this. I love everybody. Thank you, kings and gods and goddesses and queens for being out. And we definitely gotta do this again.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it again.
One love.
Right. Thank you, McKay. All right, thank you, Rob, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. And if you just want to just hit us up anytime, man, you can, brother. And thank you once again, man, for coming on and sharing your thoughts. And we gonna keep up with you. So all right. Did you got anything else?
No,
I'm just I'm most humble, most gracious to get to speak with the God and one love, and I look forward to chop it up again. Cause
yeah, we're gonna do it again. It ain't gonna be long.
I just love it. Okay, brother, man, that'll work. All right now, one love, y'all.
Gratitude. Thank you, guys.
Peace, family.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Peace.
You welcome.